right there, looking ready to show us what he has got. So please welcome Kun Prin Chaiyakij.
Hi, sir, ma'am. I'm honored to be here. So the topic I'm talking today is about affective disorders, commonly known as mood disorders.
If you're ready.
Okay, by all means. Okay. Drops upon drops of rain falls down on you and you alone. You can feel its weight clinging to you as you drag yourself forwards. It's numb, it's incessant, and it's persistent, but no one seems to notice. The sun is so bright, but it's so dark, you can't see what's in front of you. On this crowded street, there's no one there. No one's ever there. That is how the experience of one who suffers from depression feels like. Clinical depression is an affective disorder that is so common but yet so oversight. Globally, it affects as much as 300 million people, a major contributor to the burden of disease and the second leading cause of death in young adults. The symptoms can include insomnia, indigestion, anxiety, suicidality, and anyone is susceptible. It could be you, your close friend, your family, a stranger next to you. It could be anyone at all. Although its nature is very immaterial, it is quite tangible. Our current research suggests that biologically, it is caused by neurotransmitter in our synapses: dopamine, serotonin, norepinephrine. These neurotransmitters normally regulate our emotions, energy, alertness. So that may explain why those who suffer from depression are constantly sad, tired, and distant. Be that as it may, there exists an effective treatment in form of concoction between biology and psychology. The therapies like cognitive behavioral therapy and anxiolytics. First, they focus on personal coping strategy, helping a person change and overcome in the face of difficult problems. As I mentioned earlier, the other approach is using medication like selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. Theoretically, by increasing the number of neurotransmitter higher, it could improve nerve cell communication. Luckily, it would mitigate the problem with depression. Although depression is deceptive and is quite a subtle thing, our current medical model tells us that it's very substantial in its effect and that we have the means to counteract it. I think by shedding light of science on this disease, we could create an informed and inclusive society. Thank you.
Thank you, Kun Prin. Thank you very much. Over to you, judges.
First of all, thank you for choosing this topic because, like you say, I agree, it is probably one of the most overlooked conditions, and I think we do need better understanding of the cause of the disease and the treatment. I guess my question is, what about prevention? Would that be better instead of just, identifying it and treating it, but actually what can we do? So you mentioned at the end, which I like, it is about creating a better, more inclusive society. So what can, people do in everyday life to prevent this from happening in the first place?
Okay, to answer that question, I have to tell you that depression is a complex problem like many in our science. It is biological and psychological and sociological in nature. So in my present that I talk about the biological aspect of it. To prevent it, we need to understand better in psychological and sociological of the nowadays society. As you can imagine, my research is that I find that depression victims is increasingly identified in these last decades. That is, they have many factors, but it is undeniable that nowadays society play a large part in these increasing numbers. So about the prevention, I cannot say so because it's still a matter of understanding it.
Because you mentioned about the CBT, right? Cognitive behavioral therapy. It would be more, interesting if you can add information. For example, the behavioral modification in everyday life. That was Summer just asked. For example, exercising. How to improve your mood, or do some meditation. That's all activities that can affect the brain function. And so when the doctor, they prescribe the medicine that you mentioned, that fluoxetine or selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, they also suggest the patient to do more exercise that improve the affective disorders and depression as well as anxiety. So it just the take-home message for the audience. Okay.
Well, I am quite impressed. The way you introduce the subject is quite artistic. Can I say that? There are 2 points I'd like to make. First of all, I think if we could explain a little bit more, in terms of what should I say? What is happening in the chemistry or whatever, what's the relationship between the change of chemistry and the body, the biological change? It would help a little bit more so that people would not be afraid. Maybe the family or the friends, would understand that that's something that could happen to anyone, and we can control, as you said, but it's just chemistry. Second, it's that when we use a lot of technical term, like maybe some name of hormone and that kind of thing, is quite serious. So I hope that you could translate that into something a little bit more simple. And yeah, that's all. I think you try to use body language a little bit for your topic. I think it's good, but I think you can do a little bit even more, to make it less serious. Yeah, but it's good. I like the topic too. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, judges, and thank you to คุณปริญ ชัยกิจ